Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Pisces June 2022 reading and predictions. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time, you are welcome. Very good to see you, and to the subscribers, well. You know I love to see you. I love doing these Pisces readings for you each month. I really look forward to it, and I'm excited to be doing it for you. I've got an interesting deck here for you now. But while I'm pulling the cards, let's just talk about some of the general astrology, which acts like a sort of a skeletal frame of what's going on out there in the heavens. Some of you may be looking at this in May. These cards, of course, relate to June. Some may be looking in May. And what we found was that Mercury had stationed direct in Gemini earlier in the month, at the start of the month, and that meant that you would have had quite good communication skills. But what we also found in May was that on the 13th of May, Jupiter, your planet, moved out of your sign of Pisces and into the cardinal sign of fire, being Aries. Now, what's also interesting, now Jupiter, of course, as you know, is a great benefic. Another great benefic planet is Venus, and Venus is in Aries for most of the month as well. And at the end of the month, on the 27th of May, Mars ingresses into Aries, and Jupiter and Mars go into conjunction with one another. So the stage is set, and you may have found this, and if not, then you will, that the stage is set for prosperity and abundance. And I think what you'll find also with Mars coming into the scene during May and certainly going over into June is that you'll have a great desire to just do it yourself, just do it, just get things done is what I think that you'll find. Now, Mercury, of course, goes retrograde a few times a year, and it has during the later period of May, but by early June, I think it's by about the 3rd of June, it then stations direct in Capricorn. Excuse me, not in Capricorn, it stations direct in Taurus. But now the astrologers will tell you, and they're right, I think, that where you have a Mercury retrograde, things can go amiss, plans can go askew, you can lose things, there can be miscommunication and what have you. And when the retrograde is over and Mercury stations direct, you expect those things to be resolved. But because of the square angle with Saturn in Aquarius, I think what you find is that there might well be what I call retrograde hangover during a period after the planet itself has stopped going retrograde. There may well be a period where things still don't move along quickly because you've got it squaring Saturn, which is cold and dense and often slow moving. Let's have a look at this. The Star, what a wonderful card for you. Yeah, but what's interesting is, though, that Jupiter and Mars are in Aries still through June, and so I think that you'll find that you'll have a lot of enthusiasm for what I might call high-risk activity. And you might interpret that in a way which makes the best sense to you, but I think you'll have enthusiasm for things which do have a degree of risk associated with it. Now, I said that, oh, there's a Chariot, excellent. Now, Mercury, I said, stationed direct in Taurus. Now, Mercury never hangs around long anywhere. It's the quickest moving, well, apart from the moon, the quickest moving planet. And so it moves back into Gemini, and a couple of things happen. First of all, it gets a sextile, which is the 60-degree angle. It gets, which astrologers tell you is very beneficial, and it is. It has a sextile first with Jupiter, and then later it has a sextile with Mars, Mercury, and so in Aries. And so I think that what you will find is that if there were any delays associated with things to do with the retrograde, or what I call the retrograde hangover, those things will move along pretty well after that. But 2 good months, I think. There's the High Priestess from a point of view of general astrology. Let's see what this is. 7 of Wands. And what is this? Hierophant. The Star, the Chariot, the High Priestess, the Hierophant, they're all major arcana, you know, and then you've got the Seven of Wands. So now there's some interesting symbology in this deck, which I want to explore with you. So come and sit down here now next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery together while I do the reading for you. Now, if you do think that you would like to have a personal clairvoyant reading with me, then just check out the information that's in the description, and that will help you to choose what you want to do. Now, I'm blown away by my mind is blown by the imagery on these cards here. We're going to spend some time on the imagery, and I'll point out because they will determine what is happening in your life as I interpret it. Here's first of all, and you've got major arcanas everywhere except for this one. Here is the High Priestess for you. Now, the waxing moon, there's two pillars here, a dark one and a white one. Well, this waxing moon above the dark pillar, the first aspect of the moon's continuous cycle, on her right represents the time now for you to plant seeds, intentions, and ideas. The full moon above the High Priestess represents illumination, harvest, the fullness of life, and the open flower. And the waning crescent moon to her left represents death moving into rebirth, bringing lessons, awakening, and healing from the process of passing through all the phases of the cycling moon. Now, these two pillars that I pointed out before, they symbolize the duality of the physical, spiritual life, of the masculine, feminine self, and of the negative, positive energies. The black pillar symbolizes understanding. The white pillar represents wisdom. The High Priestess represents a sort of a central pillar herself, doesn't she, in a way? Now, the High Priestess here has behind her what looks like a sort of a spider's web, and that represents the veil between the conscious and the subconscious. It symbolizes creativity and all the possibilities in life, but also it is there to make you aware that you can get trapped in the veil if you pass through it without the proper knowledge and preparedness. Now, I notice that the High Priestess holds a star in her hands, and I think that symbolizes her ability to access universal knowledge. There's also a star, you may see it in her crown, that symbolizes the sixth chakra, I would say, and the third eye is associated with the High Priestess, symbolizing great insight. I think you'll have some sort of a psychic awareness or a third eye intuitive feeling with you, almost. I mean, you could be a bit of an empath, I think, sometimes, couldn't you, that you take on the emotions of other people. Just be aware of that this month. You could well be taking on the... Anyway, now, her dress is made up of, well, of a pattern of crosses, and a cross represents the descent of spirit into matter, and matter into spirit, and the balance of male and female energies, and the balance of the four directions of spirit, emotion, mind, and body. And she's also got spirals which are on her dress there. And this refers, I think, to the spiral of life and universe and its creative forces. Now, her dress goes down into the bottom here is what I imagine to be well, from where I can see it, it looks like a pool, and that is probably the pool of subconscious that reflects you back to yourself. Now, in the pool, the blue color and the stars represent the deep knowledge and creativity that is constant in our universe. Now, of course, the planet associated with the priestess, as you might expect, is the moon, which is intuition, cycles, and mysteries. as well as the third eye, insight, which is the sixth chakra. Now, the High Priestess, given where she is sitting in the center of your spread, she holds the key, the star, I suppose, that I meant there, to the universal knowledge, as I mentioned. She has the gift of knowing how. And these are things that you're going to take on board. I stress that when I'm talking about the symbology here. She has the gift of knowing how to channel into the collective memory of the past, present, and future. You see, there is no time on the other side. And if you do have that sort of intuitive sense, you may well have an intuition about things which are yet to come. And that will guide you to resolve blocks that disturb your inner peace and balance. Now, the star that she holds contains the universal secrets, answers, and mysteries that are available to you through prayer, meditation, or dreams, or even just communion with nature and the higher self. And her message to you is to trust your inner self and intuition. She brings harmony and balance to situations that have been out of sync. She represents the beginning of a creative cycle. She brings time for self-reflection and integrating opposing aspects of the self. And she signals a time of going within, experiencing your dark, mysterious, self-balancing that experience with your conscious self. Understanding and honoring both the light and the dark, honoring both those realms, can unveil the portal to the inner oasis of your soul. Now, here is another massively symbolic card. Let's have a look at it. I think this is fascinating. Let's see what we can do with this. Now, I'm just giving you my interpretation, of course. You can also have naturally your own here, but the Hierophant in this image represents, I think, both traditional and non-traditional spiritual faith. Now, I don't know whether you can see this, but I can. He has one blue eye and one brown eye, and that, I think, refers to seeing life from all viewpoints. If you were to split his face in half, his right side would speak of traditional spiritual practice, and his left side would speak of non-traditional spiritual practices. Now, his right hand, as you can see, is touching his heart, and that's seeking spiritual wisdom from an open, loving, and peaceful heart. His crown that you see up here, that has a 5-pointed star representing humanity on its spiritual path. Now, the crystals, you may make them out, they're very difficult to see. The crystals that are on top of his crown serve as conduits for incoming divine intelligence. And there's a sort of like a Native American medicine wheel there that sits on top of his crown, and I think that represents the ever-changing cyclic path in your life. The Hierophant, I'm just looking here, he's got a breastplate which has got some sacred gems on it. Well, that type of thing was used back in the old days in Jerusalem by the high priestess, the high priest rather. They didn't have priestesses, of course. It was a very patriarchal society back in the old days, and some might say still is. But we can say that that's a reference back to Hebrew traditions and ceremonies. Now, he's got some eagle feathers that you see there. Why does he have eagle feathers? Because I think that they represent a connection to the divine, bridging the realms of spirit and earth in peace and harmony. Now, on this North American Indian indigenous theme, here is a peace pipe which is smoking up there. That pipe, or medicine pipe probably, symbolizes commitment to your path. And you can see a snake which is wrapped around his left arm, symbolizing regeneration and transmutation. And this rainbow robe that he has here represents all peoples and beliefs working together. Now, the astrological symbol for the Hierophant is Taurus, the bull. And here is the bull. In fact, he's got a little Taurus symbol on him there. Now, that bull stands behind the throne on the right of the Hierophant, representing earth, masculine, loyalty, and patience. Keywords for Taurus are, I want, if I was to be frank. And the bear on the left, that represents the feminine, receptive side, as well as introspection and dreaming. And this lightning bolt that you can see on the bear's forest, on her head there, that represents enlightenment. And the mountains behind, see, there's so much going on. They present the spiritual calling and the difficulties that you have to conquer as you ascend to the heights of spiritual understanding. And this Hierophant is pointing to this thing here is what's known as a labyrinth. It's like a maze. Well, the labyrinth or the maze's journey is going within, communing with the divine, then returning to the outside with new spiritual insights. Now, there are 5 stones that surround that labyrinth, and they each have symbols carved into them. This heart stone that's there, that's got that's a Hebrew letter. Don't know why. That's Shin, and I'm pretty sure that means tooth, so I don't know what that has to do with anything. And yeah. Anyway, it's the crown stone that makes up this pentagram that's going on here. Pentagram meaning 5, which is a representation of the figure of a human. Now, the other 4 stones represent the 4 elements, I guess, that complete that pentagram. And they've also got Hebrew letters carved into them, which, actually, now that I look at them, the letters are Yud, He, Vav, He, which is otherwise what we would call Yahweh or God. So they have the letters of the name of God written in them. Now, the dove here is a manifestation of God, otherwise known in Christian tradition as the Holy Spirit, bringing peace to your heart during your journey. The roses down here refer to passion, lots of passion for you this month, and the lilies of purity. And they together symbolize the desire or passion, but in a way which has purity of the heart involved. It's amazing what you can get out of a simple painting, isn't it? But this energy here encourages you to trust your intuition and to see the divine in all things. The Hierophant channels cosmic knowledge to you at this time, helping you blend and balance your inner self with your outer world, understanding how all things are connected. He gives you the spiritual courage and desire to look at your beliefs and values to see if they align with the divine plan. He asks you, what is spiritually true to your soul and heart, and what is not? Just bashed that with my head, sorry about that. The Hierophant, I think, here is assisting you in rebalancing your life and ideals that bring rejuvenation to you. When you are feeling lost or off-center, quiet yourself and listen to the guidance of the Hierophant. Now, when he appears, as he has done now, in this position, it could be a time when you are questioning your spiritual values and your life. This card can indicate that there may be a need to seek spiritual guidance from somebody. It doesn't have to be in a formal sense. There's nothing wrong with talking about spirituality or with divinity or anything like that. I mean, that is just what the world is. Or you may be teaching or advising other people. People might be coming to you seeking your advice on things. I see that happening. The Hierophant brings a time to reevaluate your life. He also brings solutions, more importantly. This energy reminds you to trust your inner self, find your personal courage and your true destined path. Use the Hierophant's labyrinth. Follow its spiritual path. It will take you to your heart, opening to spirit, gathering wisdom and knowledge, then returning to your physical world with the blessings of the divine. There's another jam-packed, as you would expect, thing here. Let's have a look. The Chariot. Let's see if we can get through this quickly for you. Now you see here up the top there's the 4 poles of the Chariot, represent the 4 earthly elements in balance, I think. At the top of each pole is an 8-pointed star, representing as above, so below. Now the charioteer wears the crown of divine guidance with the 8-pointed star as well. And that's in the center. The 2 5-pointed stars represent the pentagram or the human being. The charioteer is your spirit descending. His chariot represents your physical vessel, your body in a sense, your material form. Now this green laurel wreath which he wears represents victory. This is going to be a great time for you. Things are turning around, things are moving forward. The feathers along here, I think, they represent spirit, messages, magic, and the crescent moon on his shoulders symbolize the cycles of life's up and down. Now this square shape, you might say, on his chest, I think that represents the T-cross of Saturn, which is connected to the sun circle, which is above it. Yeah. And this exemplifies his commitment to work through limitations to achieve victory. And his belt has 1, 2, see them here, 2 triangles on them, one pointing up, which is fire, and one pointing down, with the 8-pointed star, as above, so below, in the middle. And on the face of the Chariot down here is a starburst, if you like, with the yin-yang symbol. See it there in the red and black or indigo, whatever that might be. And that signifies the union of heaven and earth, of masculine and feminine. And below that starburst is, now this Hebrew letter here, that's the letter Chet. Chet meaning fence. I don't know what that's got to do with anything. But where the 2 horses knock together down here, you might just see it. There is that symbol for the Egyptian Anka amulet, which is the Egyptian symbol for eternal life. Now at the top of his wand is a lunar, just a lunar crescent representing the subconscious working with conscious personality. Now the horses, this white one and this dark one, they refer to spiritual and material, incidentally. So soul, matter, they're moving in different directions, representing the forces of your instincts, dualities, and contradictions which can occur. Now the charioteer is constantly balancing them, keeping them in control. The magical horses take the charioteer into the cosmos up here to explore all the wonders of the universe. And floating around the 12 horses, just out of curiosity, are the 12 astrological symbols. And yeah, okay, and that wall, just look at this here, this blue wall that he's sort of coming out from behind. Well, I'd say that this is symbolizing moving out from your protective environment of limitations and going into the unknown to do things and make things happen. Now, the Chariot's number is 7. 7 is the number of mastery, victory, and initiation. 7 is the number of the seeker of transformation. This brings change. Change helps you grow, evolve, and transform on many levels. And it brings opportunity, new life, new reality, new views and perspectives to you that stretch and deepen your nature. This change is going to be magical. It's going to open doors and create opportunities. The Chariot is full of movement and opportunities for success. It also gives you a degree of rest, so you're able to listen to your intuition and to your inner voice. And he brings you the willpower and the intuition to ride the rocky course of life into victory. So a great month for you, great time of the year. Here's another major. Let's have a look at her, the star. What have we got here? Star, well, the star goddess is stepping into the sacred spring of truth and healing. The spring is going to cleanse her and you of any fears that hold you back or from being your true self. Now, she is naked. She has nothing to hide. She is a sacred vessel with the light of divine shining within and without. Now, she meditates on the spiral that's in this sacred spring that's down here. And of all the possibilities represented by the stars in the spring, I think, that are before her. Now, as her foot dips into the water, her left hand rests on a rock ledge, representing her understanding of her material world. Her right hand feels the waters of life and spirit, expressing her understanding of the precious balance between the two that makes life a magical experience. Now, the silver waterfall that is on her left, that represents the unconscious, the intuitive. It separates into 5 streams, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that really represent our 5 human senses, I think. The golden waterfall on her right represents the conscious, that is your choice to expand the self. Both waterfalls flow down from the heavens into the sacred spring of collective consciousness, blending the two of them into a perfect balance and the development of the 6th sense of your intuitiveness. Now, the spirals in the spring represent the ever-flowing cycles in your life. The spring is also the pool of honest self-reflection, a spring of contemplation and meditation. The ascending butterflies that you see there represent the chakras, transforming and opening up to the divine light of God, the Creator. And the 7 stars circling the goddess's head, there they are here, I'll point them out to you, create a halo, also representing the 7 chakras, but now fully developed and open to receive the light of the divine star above. Now, the star shines with, this is such a great card for you, you know. You are a conduit of divine energy at this period, and the star shines with focus, sparkles with imagination, glistens with understanding, and penetrates the heart, mind, and spirit with love and light. The star heals you so that you can shine its light of inspiration, hope, and confidence onto your world. It allows you to be a star in how you think, feel, and love by understanding yourself and others. The star brings the gifts of peace, faith, healing, and a new refreshed outlook on the future. Fate, fame, imagination, and good fortune can shine on your path with this star's energy. Wish upon a star, they say. Let your destiny unfold and let the magic begin. You are a star on this transformative, victorious path of your life. That takes us finally, I think, to, let's have a look here. What's this? 7 of Wands. Oh, this is also interesting. Let's have a look at you, 7 of Wands. Okay, well, now in the image of the 7 of Wands here, the sun lion symbolizes your courage, love, and strength. You're going to have these things. And it, of course, has a lot of Leo associated with it. Now, 7 rays of light shine out from the lion's mane and expressing the fiery courage and strength of life force within your heart. Now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars represent the full expression of the cosmos of you and inside you. Now a young person is standing in a sacred circle of white stones which represent purity of heart. There are 6 burning wands in the circle, purifying the creative energy and igniting the kundalini, the fire energy which comes up through the body. The kundalini energy shoots up to his heart chakra, awakening the heart with spiritual truth, manifesting in the 7th wand here, the wand of truth. Now the 6 wands in the circle, I guess, tell of the story of his travels and lessons through the 6 previous wands. But he's ready to step out of the circle into the world and live his heartfelt path with power, wisdom, and conviction. Do you know, this is the time for you to dig deep also, to use your strength and power that's going to be with you. Balance your ego and heart, finding the spiritual courage and mental confidence to break through struggles and any discord or arguments that life presents. This allows the cosmic fire of your kundalini to burn away any limitations that block your inner strength. Harness that energy and empower yourself to follow your true path with conviction. Move to higher ground, seeing the bigger picture, acting from a position of courage and wisdom. The lesson of this 7 of Wands is having the confidence to stand by your truth with integrity, courage, and honor. Now, in uncertain times, don't be influenced by what you hear, read, or watch. Trust your intuition and your gut feeling. Listen to your inner guidance and transcend surface illusions and limitations. Confrontation and conflict bring light to a struggling aspect of yourself to allow healing at this time. And this asks that you reassess your beliefs and values as you stretch and grow. Is your heart and mind in agreement with your actions? Know how to pick your battles. Think before you act. Stop and feel if what you are thinking about aligns with your heart. The 7 of Wands awakens your inner truth, life force, and personal power and leads you on to victory. Well, what a very, very interesting set of cards for you this month. Good job. That's the way it is. That, my dear friend, is your reading for June 2022. I love doing readings for you. Did I mention that before? I really do. I'm always excited to be doing it, and I'd love to see you. And if you're here for the first time, welcome, and I hope to see a lot more of you. Subscribers, thank you very much for being with me all this time. I really enjoy your company. Drop me a note in the comments, and we can see how we're all doing. But in the meantime, remember this, and remember it always, and it is that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.